as I laid there at the edge of the Omniverse, after finding out that 3 years of my life were entirely fabricated. I started having these dreams that all of that wasn't just revealed to me. Everything was back to normal. Sooner or later, though, you always have to wake up. Okay. So, Avatar. This is definitely a very controversial franchise. So much so that it has actually caused me to return to this website known as YouTube.com, where the fair use policies are so annoying to the point where it absolutely destroys my motivation to even upload movie reviews anymore. But here I am, because damn it, I want to talk about some big blue cat aliens. So, what do you say we go ahead and take a trip back to Pandora? Now, believe it or not, it actually took me quite a while to actually get around to watching Avatar: The Way of Water. I didn't watch where it first came out. I didn't see it in 3D. Some may call me a fool for that, but I finally saw it, which meant I finally got to watch all of the reviews which were out when the movie came out. And I actually noticed that many people who hated the first movie actually thought this one was an improvement. But see, here's the thing. This might be a hot take, but I think I actually still prefer the first movie. And yeah, I'm gonna get into why. So let's go ahead and talk about Avatar: The Way of Water. So to start off, I'm going to talk about the things I liked. So Jake Sully, the protagonist of the first flick, is now a father. He has a whole family now, with a variety of new child characters. You have Loak. He's the middle child, seemingly always failing at life and living up to expectations. Now at first you might think that this is kind of a basic character, but I'd say otherwise. His characterization is really well done, and I feel like this is because his actions are morally ambiguous. He's not some misunderstood angel. He does make genuine mistakes and does morally ambiguous stuff to try to seek approval throughout the whole movie. This is how I feel a character like this should be done. When it comes to a lot of kids, this is kind of how they act. The other characters, on the other hand, could use some more development. Kiri represents the sort of shy kid who's really into nature and seems to have some sort of connection to it. There's definite potential there, but I feel like they'll expand on it more in the sequels. And yeah, there just could have been more of that in this movie. Same thing goes for the other child characters, since all of them really just serve more as plot devices. Which is unfortunate, since Loak was done really well. Now, Spider is in fact not the bassist of some crappy new wave death metal band, but rather the son of Miles Quaritch from the first movie, and they're kind of paired up in this one until the climax. Now, this climax is awesome. It's full of action, tension, drama, character moments. Loak gets to save his dad, and Neytiri goes full deadly protective mother, and it's great. I got the sense that they were establishing that we get more scenes like this in future movies, which would make me a happy man. Stephen Lang's performance was also really good, and I felt like he and Spider had some nice chemistry. Now we get into my problems with the movie. So a huge portion of it was spent with the oceans of Pandora, and these new whale-type creatures. Now I found it pretty clever that they toyed around with the concept of whales being super intelligent, making it extremely screwed up that humans kill them, which is based off of reality, but my problem is just that. These scenes are too similar to reality. Now the effects themselves are absolutely breathtaking. They look real, there's no other way to put it. And this is also because of the actors, their performances were just captured so well, and whenever the characters, whenever they're drowning or something, or struggling to just breathe underwater, you can feel it, it really is that good, and at some point I just gave up on trying to figure out how they did these damn effects. But here's the problem. They're just too similar to reality to the point where I don't feel like I'm on an alien planet. They just don't really do much to make you feel like you're on an alien world. Now, many might argue that this was also a problem in the first movie, but I would actually argue that that's in fact not the case. Now is a better time as ever to talk about the first movie, because we just arrived at our destination. In the first movie, it's heavily implied that much of Earth's wildlife has gone extinct, and that people are disconnected from nature. Them going to this new moon planet with creatures that are similar yet extremely different from what was once commonplace on Earth, as well as dragons, leaves a bit more of an impact. And this is in no small part to the sense of gravitas that these creatures are presented with. And yeah, this sense of gravitas I felt was really lacking in Avatar 2 for whatever reason. And that really sucks because the whale stuff takes up a large part of the film's running time, and it just sort of took me out of the whole experience. Now I'd like to take a moment to talk about another issue with these movies, and it's the debate as to whether or not the Na'vi are sort of racist depictions of indigenous stereotypes. And, you know, even as a fan of these movies, I will admit that you really do get a sense of that, especially in the first one, because the Na'vi do and like act in certain ways which are like stereotypical views of what a Westerner thinks indigenous tribes are sort of like. And you could argue that this was maybe even the intention, considering like if you go into the background behind the music for the movie. So yeah, it really does get a bit iffy. Jake Sully is also 110% a white savior. He's depicted as the best thing to ever happen to Pandora ever. If he was just a white dude learning the ways of the Na'vi and realizing that humans kinda suck and just joining the good fight without needing to become Toruk Maktu or the leader of the entire clan, it would have helped alleviate this trope, a lot. This would also kind of help justify just why the characters in the movie, the humans, are so damn evil. They'll serve as the representations of what humanity has become. They're just so hardened in their beliefs. They believe humanity is the best. And Jake will find out maybe humanity isn't actually so good. Maybe these other guys are just doing better than it right now. And maybe that's what I should join. But I will say, by the time of the second movie, the Na'vi, they really do sort of play into more of the lore which James Cameron and crew created for the Na'vi, really making them more of their own fictional alien race, which is good. If they continue going that direction, that would be great. And they could also, maybe get some more indigenous representation, maybe represent the culture a bit better after doing that in later installments. I feel like that could also be pretty cool. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Now, in spite of these movies' flaws, I love them. In terms of escapist fiction, this universe is actually my favorite. I mentioned the gravitas of the first movie, and even so many scenes in the second one still just absolutely immersed me into this world of Pandora and all this crap. And yeah, honestly, if I could live in any fictional universe, it would be this one. It would be this one. So yeah, in spite of all its flaws, I'm looking forward to see where this franchise goes later on. Now, as some of you may know, I was the physical host of a total of 2 evil deities throughout my lifetime. And yeah, that racks up a fair amount of chromosomes. And while I can shoot fire, I think I'm going to be doing something a little different today. I'll see you guys next time.
Please don't make the third one about fire people. That's gonna suck so much.